Welcome to the Moon Manifesting Podcast with Kyra Howearth. Hi, I'm Kyra, business astrologer, moon manifesting mama, author, teacher, and mentor. I teach you how to harness the energy of the moon, stars, and cosmos so you can manifest your dreams and discover a deeper purpose to your life. And welcome back to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. It's Kyra Howearth, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my tips for manifesting with the new moon in Scorpio on the 13th of November 2023. We've got some exciting energies coming up with this new moon. There's always exciting energies coming up with every new moon, I know, but this one, there's some really exciting energy that I'm really excited to share with you more about. But before I dive into what to expect with this new moon in Scorpio, I would love to invite you to my free Moon Manifesting Challenge. It starts on the new moon on the 13th of November, and it's a 5-day completely free challenge where I'm going to be guiding you every single day through manifesting with the moon. I'm going to be sharing so many tips and tricks as well as practical action steps so that you can manifest your goals and your dreams. This is life-changing work, and it has absolutely changed my life since I started this journey about 8 years ago. And I'm really excited to share this with you inside the Moon Manifesting Challenge. You can sign up for free at kyrahowearth.com/challenge. You'll also find the link in the show notes below. So make sure you take advantage of this amazing free challenge. It is going to change your life. I'm just so excited. Okay, so let's dive into what's coming up with this new moon in Scorpio. So new moons, as you probably already know, they're a time of new beginnings. And when we're talking about moon manifesting, we look at the moon phase, which, it's the new moon, right? And then we look at the zodiac sign for an extra sort of layer of meaning. So a new moon in Scorpio is different to like a new moon in Leo or a new moon in Gemini or whatever other sign. It's a new moon in Scorpio. And the Scorpio energies are about some of the more taboo topics that may not often come up to the surface, and it may make you feel a bit uncomfortable. So some of these things could be sex, money, business, fears, shadow work. There's so many different things that can come up with the Scorpio energy that, like I said, they're a bit taboo, they may be a bit mysterious, they just may not be out in the open. They may be things that you may keep inside, they may be quite secretive things. So with this new moon in Scorpio, it really brings a lot of these issues or these areas of your life to the surface. It brings it to the forefront of your consciousness. So this new moon in Scorpio, I'll tell you a bit about exactly when that's going to be before I go too much further into all about the energy of it. It's going to be on the 13th of November, and that's going to be exact at 8:27 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. If you're in America, that is 4:27 a.m. New York time. And if you're in the UK, that is 9:27 a.m. London time. So if you're elsewhere in the world, maybe you can figure out exactly when that's going to be exact. And I really find that it's important to know exactly when the new moon is, because you don't want to be setting intentions before the moon is exactly at its new moon, right? Because when before the moon is exactly new, it's still in the waning phase. It's in the dark moon phase. It's a time for banishing and getting rid of things out of your life. It's not the time to be welcoming in the new things. It's not a time for starting new things, for setting new intentions or setting new goals. So being really mindful of the timing, if you are doing some sort of new moon ritual or taking time to set intentions or goals, just making sure that you wait until after the new moon is exact for optimal results. Timing is key. So let's talk a bit more about what is coming up with this new moon. Oh, and also this new moon is at 20 degrees, 44 minutes in Scorpio. So as I said before, when we're looking at moon manifesting, we're looking at a few different things, right? We're looking at the moon phase, we're looking at the zodiac sign, And then we can take it a step further and look at which house this new moon is falling in on your chart. And if you've been listening to my podcast episodes for a while, then you'll know the drill. Pull up your natal chart and find exactly where 20 degrees 44 minutes is on your chart. And this is going to be different for everyone, unless I guess your birth charts are similar. But yeah, we have the 12 different houses in astrology, and each of these 12 houses shines a light on a different area on your life. So while a new moon in Scorpio may be bringing up something for you, for someone else with a completely different chart, it will be bringing up something completely different. So taking it this step further can help you understand on a more personal level what is coming up for you with this new moon. So if you want to know more about all the houses and all that sort of thing, check out the show notes below. If you click through to the podcast notes for this episode, I'll list out the houses and what they mean. The other thing to look at when you're looking at your chart is any natal planets that may be around 20 degrees Scorpio. Generally, I say about maybe 5 degrees away for a conjunction to be felt. So if you have planets that are anywhere between 15 to 25 degrees Scorpio, then those planetary energies are going to be ignited by this new moon. And there's, of course, lots of other things that you could look at on your chart. If you know a bit of astrology, go for it. So what's going on with this new moon on a more collective level? So I've just spent some time talking about like how to find out what's happening for you personally this new moon. But on a more broader sense, what is happening this new moon is that this new moon is actually conjunct Mars. Mars is currently in Scorpio, and Mars is going to be a couple of degrees away from the new moon, but close enough for it to be activated by this new moon. And the cool thing is that Mars is actually the traditional ruler of the sign of Scorpio. So back before Pluto was discovered, a lot of the planets had different planetary rulers. These days, it's generally considered that Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio, but Mars, it's still the traditional ruler of Scorpio. So Mars is right at home in Scorpio. So with this new moon conjunct Mars, Mars is a planet of things like physical energy, drive, motivation, courage, as well as some of, like the more shadow sides of Mars are things like aggression and conflict and force. So some of these things may come up into your life during this new moon. You may feel quite physically energized, or you may feel quite angry and frustrated, and maybe you're causing some arguments. You can go both ways, right? The other interesting thing that's coming up with this new moon is that Uranus is directly opposite this new moon and directly opposite Mars. So when we have an opposition creates conflict. It creates like a conflict between the energies, I should say. But it creates like a polarization, and it can also highlight what needs to be brought back into balance. So with this Mars and new moon being opposite Uranus, Uranus is the planet of things like liberation, rebellion, unexpected things, chaos. It can really bring up like unpredictable things. It can be full of surprises. So when we've got this Uranus in the mix for this new moon energy, we can expect things like erratic outbursts of anger, like just really surprising or unpredictable bursts of angry emotions, perhaps, with that Mars coming through. There can also be a sense of breaking free, but with force, using your will and your force to break free, to liberate yourself. So the interesting thing I'm finding at the moment with this Mars and Uranus opposition with this new moon is that there's so much conflict going on in the world right now. There is just so much going on, and my heart really goes out to all the people who are being hurt right now. And yeah, it is devastating, the world that we're living in. But like the stars are literally like showing us like how this energy is playing out. There is this like this sense of rebellion. There is this sense of unpredictable anger, and it's like literally blowing up countries. So, I mean, the stars, like, you know, they definitely tell us what's going on. You can see that the stars is affecting life here on Earth for all of us in a really collective sense. So hopefully, as Mars continues to move through, Mars will be moving into Sagittarius soon and breaking free from this opposition. Hopefully things will start to ease up. It is my biggest prayer that there is more peace in the world. But anyways, back to this new moon and what's happening here. This new moon, it may bring like a rebirth of liberation, but you may need to fight for it. You'll need to fight for your freedom is the message that I'm really feeling here. So you may like to try confronting your fears with this new moon. As I mentioned before, the Scorpio energy can bring up the fears. It can bring up the things that have been hiding in your subconscious mind, and it can bring it up to the forefront. And so you may feel more energized to actually have the bandwidth to deal with your fears. And you may be able to make some like sort of erratic movement to break free of those fears. So confronting your fears and trying not to be provoked into anger is probably one of the other big messages I'm really getting through with this new moon. Just being mindful of the things that are triggering you, because triggers are such a Scorpio thing as well. I feel like we often get triggered during Scorpio season anyway. And so with this new moon in Scorpio really highlighting those triggers, and when we've got Mars and Uranus in the mix, it can just blow up in your face unexpectedly, right? So just being careful with that, and don't make any sudden moves that you might regret later. As I mentioned, with Uranus in the mix, it can bring up like that unpredictability and that spontaneousness as well as rebellion. But don't be too rash. Don't like act on impulses, especially if it's going to have a really devastating impact on you and your life and the people around you. Just think things through a bit before jumping into action. And new moons really are a time of that. They are a time of quiet contemplation as you set your intentions without necessarily rushing into action. So just being mindful, because I know that with the Mars and Uranus energy, we're really going to want to take that really fast action. We're going to feel more energized, and we're just going to be acting on impulses. But new moons are a time for just setting those intentions, just planting that seed, putting it out there into the universe, instead of just rushing like a bull at a gate. So what I wanted to do on this episode is I actually just wanted to guide you through a bit of a ritual here today for something different. I wanted to guide you through a cord cutting visualization because Scorpio energy is really helpful for transforming yourself, for letting go of what's no longer aligned, and for looking at the energies. And as I'm recording this, it's still in the waning moon phase, and I'll be publishing this in the waning moon phase. So maybe if you're coming along and listening to this, it's maybe not quite the new moon yet. So I feel like this cord cutting visualization could be really helpful for you before we hit the new moon. But if you're listening to this or watching this and it's already past the new moon, do it anyway, because it's going to be really helpful to release the energy that you no longer need to carry with you. So I invite you to, if it's safe for you to do so, to maybe close down your eyes, and we'll just take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And of course, if you're driving or anything else and it's not really safe for you to close your eyes, just listen along anyway. Just visualize what's happening if it's safe to do so. So from a centered place, just letting go of any thoughts in your mind, if you're multitasking or anything else, maybe just putting down whatever it is that you're doing right now and just focusing within, slowing down the breath, turning the senses within, and bring your awareness to your heart center, maybe placing a hand over the heart, feeling into your inner self. And from here, I'd like you to feel into something that feels heavy in your heart. Something that maybe feels ick or that no longer feels aligned with you. Something that you would like to release. Something that's been holding you back. Maybe it's something that you've been holding on to for so long and you're ready to release it. It might be a grudge that you're holding. It might be negative emotions or feelings. It might be attachments. It might be anything else. And as you visualize whatever it is that you're ready to release, you start to notice that there's a cord wrapped around this thing that you're ready to release. And you see this cord, you follow this cord, and you notice that it's also wrapped around you. It may be wrapped around a particular part of your body or just around your entire being. And so you see that you're connected to whatever it is that you're ready to release. You're connected. You have this cord tying you together. It's been holding you together for so long. But today you find the power to release this, to cut this cord, to say goodbye, and to free yourself. So in your mind's eye, you begin to break this cord, cut this cord. Maybe you have scissors or a sword or maybe a flame or anything else that's going to disconnect you from whatever it is that you've been holding on to. Cut that cord, let it free. And as you let that thing free, it floats away into the ether, floats away into the universe. And as it disappears out of your life, you feel a sense of freeness, of freedom, liberation. You feel a lightness wash over you. You feel your burdens being lifted away from you. You're feeling more at peace. You no longer have to carry that around with you any longer. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and coming back into the room. If you had your eyes closed and you went quite deep, maybe you want to wriggle your fingers or your toes. Opening back up your eyes, coming back into your body. How does that feel, my loves? I hope that was really helpful for you. Feels so good. Let me know what came up for you in this cord cutting visualization. If you're watching on YouTube, you can comment on the video below, or if you're watching elsewhere and there's no comment sort of function, feel free to pop over onto Instagram or Facebook, send me a message or leave a comment. Let me know what came up for you through this visualization. I'd love to hear whether it was really helpful for you. So that brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed that cord cutting visualization. That was really nice. I'm really glad I felt called to do that today. So I'd just like to remind you before I leave today that the Moon Manifesting Challenge is starting soon. We are starting on the 13th of November. So if you want more like that cord cutting visualization, more things to do that are in alignment with the moon that will help you to manifest your goals, then make sure you join us. That link again is kyrahowearth.com/challenge. You'll find it in the show notes below so you can click right on through. Hopefully I'll see you inside the challenge. I'm so excited. I'm just so pumped for this challenge. I just cannot wait to see what you manifest during our time together. It's going to be 5 days with easy, practical action steps every single day that are going to help you get closer towards manifesting your goals. How exciting. Yay! Alrighty, I will catch you in the next episode, my loves. Stay magical, stay manifesting, and stay tuned. I'll be back soon. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. If you're wanting more moon magic, check out my book, Moon Manifesting. Download your free Moon Manifesting calendar or connect with me on social media. You can do all of that at kyrahowearth.com.au. Stay magical, stay manifesting, and stay tuned. I'll speak with you in the next episode.